And we are live. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be right back with you, Howlers. Just let it flow. We can go watch. Just give us the point because it's already too late. Yeah.
Is this the tag?
Yeah. So no, they're seeing the
Your, like,
music playing and all that.
Cool.
House of a Baz. I'm Ronnie Adams.
And I'm Jacob Casas. And this episode is called Subconscious. We are bringing back another guest today. I'm gonna let her introduce herself and tell you guys a little bit what we're gonna do today.
Hey, welcome back. Or thank you for having me.
Welcome back. You're good.
Welcome back to my show.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Patty Ford, and I'm a doctor, dietitian, and coach, and I untangle inner habits of thinking for health.
Okay.
So I'm here. Part of my practice is I will assess your subconscious habits of thinking, which is just basically your inner tape that runs all of the time. And it's a quick assessment, and Ronnie did the assessment about a month ago. I think it was December 9th. Does that ring a bell?
Actually, not sure, but about
Before Christmas.
Yes.
And we have his results. And so the goal today is to just go over the results and go over what the assessment does. So I can explain that. And then specifically what Ronnie's results say.
Yeah, and why don't you give the audience a little bit of background of what you do and what this assessment entails? Like, everything that because this is what you do for other people.
Yes.
So you could explain, like, even like, I don't know if you want to explain like your charges, things like that, like all that,
yes.
So they can understand what this is about.
Okay, so I work with people. I have my own practice in Southern California, is like my brick and mortar in Redlands, which is pretty close to here. And I work in person and virtually. So I see people as a coach. That would be kind of the simplest way to describe it. Other people have called me, like, it feels similar to therapy, feels similar to psychology. My background, I have a PhD in preventive care. I spent a lot of time in the clinical world working with eating disorders. And then I shifted in like 2016 to having my own practice outside of managed care, which I love. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And I have always been coaching, but now I've found a way to make a living out of it. So what it looks like is people will invest in my services for one time. It can be like a one-time fee, or they can work with me for a month. At the highest investment is 6 months at a time. And so there's different price points from $250 to $10,000. So it just kind of ranges depending upon what they want. I talk with people all day, kind of like, well, not on a podcast live, but where I debrief. So I formally call this like a free debrief, where I meet with them for an hour. We go over first like what they want, kind of why are they interested in looking at their habits of thinking, and then if I'm best fit to serve them. Because sometimes people come and they want different things that I'm really gifted at, which is, okay, well, maybe I can refer you to someone in my network that would be able to serve you. So at the heart of it, I'm with people all day long, whether it be with virtual or in person.
So can you let them know too a little bit about, so after your assessment, let's say you assess somebody, what would you do in order to help them? Are you coaching them on
Yes.
what they need to work on, or like explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's basically a 5-step framework that we go through. Okay, each person thinks differently. Each person is a different set of thoughts, different set of feelings, different, like a diet. Everyone is deficient in different things. And
okay,
so
that's good.
What we try and do is say, okay, this is where you have the most noise. This is where I see or I feel that you're struggling. Here are your risky patterns of thought. So the framework is the same for everybody, which feels like we do this like such individualized, but here's the same curriculum. The curriculum is so well-rounded, where the 5-step framework has like 6 habits that we work through.
Okay.
I pair it along with a really specific way to think about food. So my ideal client would be someone who's lived kind of a longer life, maybe 40 to 70 years, just lots to untangle. They've had a lot of life. And sometimes people come in at 20 and they've lived a lot of life.
Wow. Yeah,
So
I can see that.
Yeah. So in marketing, they always say, who's your ideal client? Who's your intended reader, right? That type of question. So someone that's just been through a lot and they're trying to untangle what's happened for them. But sometimes I just see someone one time and they want a meal plan, they have a little bit of coaching, a little bit of mindset, and then they're on their way.
Okay, why don't you drop your Instagram so people that are interested, they can DM you or even...
Yeah, it's easy. It's at Dr. Ford. So super simple. It should be Patty with a Y. The Dr.PATTYANNFORD.
So you ready for this, Ronnie?
Yeah, I got one question for the doctor.
Okay.
What made you get into this type of field? You know, why one-on-one relationship?
Good.
I love people. I have always loved people's stories. And whenever I answer this question, it sounds mean. I love knowing people's pain, like pain point. Like what really makes you you. It makes me interested, not to be like, aha, not to like exploit, but to, I think when someone can actually see you and validate you and just sit with you in that, oh gosh, that feels so good.
Well, that makes sense because I mean, a lot of people their pain makes them who they are. Like that's plain and simple. So I mean, that makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
Yeah. So I remember in 6th grade. You guys ever had a favorite teacher? Like 6th grade, I had one of my favorite teachers, Miss Taylor, if you're watching, and she told me, Patty, you're going to be a counselor of some sort. I remember looking at her thinking, what is she talking about? But I just love being with people, so that always kind of stuck. And very extrovert, and I have I have the gift of intuition, which you guys. Yeah. So sometimes it's not that strong. Sometimes my own story gets in my own way.
So you like to see people open up.
I do. I like the vulnerability, and sometimes it's too hard. Sometimes being vulnerable, it feels too hard, which is okay. That's meeting people where they're at. They're not ready yet, which is okay.
So you ready for this, Ronnie?
That's
what
it.
we want to know.
So I want to preface. So I do believe that we have like 3 mindsets.
Okay.
So what I have my computer and binder as my notes. This assessment looks at your cerebral brain, right? So that's the first brain. Then you have a heart brain, and then you have a gut brain. And so how you experience those things is different. What we're looking at today is I want to say just your thought brain.
Okay.
And a lot of times in entrepreneur spaces, that's all that the focus is, which is not bad, but it's not the full picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so today is just thoughts. So I'm gonna, as you're kind of doing your own introspection, listening to this, know you are not your thoughts. We have millions of thoughts per day, but they don't define you. Like I can look at how your brain works, like patterns, but I don't really know what's happened in your life. And that's what we're going to explore. So today is just exploration. There's no fix it. There's no what's next. If you keep thinking that, then that means I should be your coach. You keep thinking, what do I do next? I'm like, well, that's why I do what I do. Because it's okay. There are ways you can shift your patterns of thought.
Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Put y'all seatbelts on.
Oh gosh. Okay, so just so we have some context, why don't you tell us about you? Your readers probably, or your listeners probably already know a little bit about you, but just to set the stage for today.
Let's rock it out.
I mean, what do you want to know about me?
What do you do?
What I do? I'm an entrepreneur. I have real estate property. I own real estate. I'm into investment. I have an autism disability business that we run. I have a business partner. I'm a father. That's the most important thing to me in life, is me being a father. I'm a growing man. That's one of the most important things about me also. If you knew me, you know that growth is important in every aspect of my life. So
What kind of growth?
What kind of growth? Mental, physical, spiritual.
All of it.
All of it. Yeah. Business-wise, finance-wise, all around, I take everything I pretty much put my mind to, I take it serious.
Yeah. So you probably have experienced growth before. Like it sounds like you've done some sort of growth before.
I would say so, especially
Yeah.
from where I was in the beginning to where I am now.
Yeah.
You know.
How did you do that growth? Like, have you done like types of introspection before? Like, is that how you've grown before? Since you like growth, you've done introspection before, or this type of work before?
I have, but I've also, when I talk about growth, I evaluate myself daily. So not just what I see, but you know, the things that I can't see. You know, I have to evaluate those things also, where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm at. You know, my future. I can't see those things. So.
How do you evaluate the things you don't see? 'Cause that's hard.
Yeah, evaluate the things that I see is by faith first of all. So I have to evaluate, like I don't see where I am going to be in 5 years from now. So I have to evaluate it, meaning go through steps to try to see what it looks like to get there, what it's going to take to get there. So I have to evaluate what that looks like in order to get where I want to go.
So what I hear is you're probably a really practical person. Like, to be able to, even though you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, like you own, I counted four businesses. Is that right?
I mean, I do a lot of things too.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a lot.
It is. I do have help. I don't do everything on my own.
Right.
I do have a team, and I'm built for that.
Yes. I was going to say, so this assessment, why I love it so much, think of your brain, right? Our thoughts is like a house, and there's different rooms in the house. So there's two parts of a house. There's upstairs, downstairs. Let's just say that. Your upstairs is looking at how you think about yourself. You have a really clear thought pattern about yourself, meaning like you have a lot of clarity of who you are and how you feel about your life. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Yeah? How so? Like, how does that show up for you?
My clarity?
Yeah.
I think my clarity comes from just my hustle. To be honest.
Okay.
You know, my hustle is I have to get it done by any means necessary. So I don't look at it as something that I want to do. It's most of the things that I look at in my life is something that I have to do.
Is there something in your life where it's not working? Is there a place in your life? I'm curious. So if I'm going to share my screen with him, I know you guys can't see it. When you're looking at this assessment, if you were to take it, you also get a free copy. So if you're on and you take it, you get emailed a copy, I get emailed a copy, and then how I work is I can go through it with you, like I'm going through it with Ronnie. But when an assessment has an aligned measurement, meaning I'm really clear, I am in my genius. I'm acting genius. You're in your genius pocket when it comes to creating things in your life for your dreams, which is showed up. You're a very practical person. You're creating and you get things done by evidence of you have a very successful business. Am I assuming wrong? Yeah.
People are tuned in, so they hopefully they're tuned in. I got people that should pull my card or pull our card.
Okay.
If you know, I could be as authentic as I can.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell any stories, lies, or you know, I'm very.
What do you mean?
No, so I have people like, you know, to say like, oh, he's lying if I'm lying.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
In the chat.
Oh, I like that.
You know what I mean? So they should
like
be
a
tuned
lie
in.
detector.
Yeah, so they're gonna be like, oh, he's lying, or
Oh,
you know
okay.
what I mean? So because I'm very authentic, I'm not gonna give you.
Right.
If you ask me a question, I'm gonna try to be as authentic as I can.
Is there something in your life that feels stuck? That what you're trying to do, it's just not working yet? Or it feels stuck, or you're thinking, gosh, I've been trying to do this one thing. I'm just curious. So stuck doesn't mean you're stuck. It means the habits that you're working, it's like, oh, gosh, this just feels like it's not working the way I want it to work.
Yes.
There is?
Yes, definitely.
You want to share? Or tell me more?
Okay.
Here we go.
Hey, that's deep.
Boom.
Boom. if we're talking about in this very moment, and if you want me to be authentic about it, and she hit me with a boom, it's relationship. You know, a lot of times, relationship would it has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's been down.
Yeah.
You know, it's been more down than up. And sometimes when you love somebody, you hear you got to keep giving that person a chance. If you love them, keep giving them a chance, which is valid. But, and I'm saying this for everybody, if it's damaging you and if it's hurting you, you have to be real with yourself at one point. You know, how much damage do you really want to do to yourself? And not just the relationship, you know, but, you know, the back and forth is can damage your mental eventually and keep you stuck.
Yeah. So remember this. So sometimes when we hear these words or see this, it thinks we are, but it can be your thoughts are. So introspection is almost like floating outside of your body and kind of looking at your thoughts. So what we're doing is trying to do that, but you're actually experiencing it. So when I said that question, for you went, yes, like that feels resonating. That feels, yes, there is something in my life that feels stuck because I can feel it. Feelings come from thoughts. And so your thoughts, what you're using is showing up in such a way where that relationship feels stuck because maybe how you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I get that, and I understand
which is
that.
Confusing.
Yes, but no, I understand that completely. And just like I mentioned back in the beginning about growth.
Yes.
And when you say stuck, you know, I'm a person that want to see everything grow and every person grow. You know, not just myself. I want to see people grow. And if something is not growing, you know what I mean, I feel some type of way about it. You know, might not say something, you know what I mean, right away, or I might, you know, but I'm a motivator. I try to push you to that level to growth, you know, and if it's not growing, and then, like I said, even relationship, you know, in a relationship, if the relationship is not growing and you guys are just stuck, you know, that can definitely put...
Does it feel overwhelming?
For sure.
Yeah. So that's this. So your thoughts can lead to, oh, this is overwhelming.
Definitely.
It can feel overwhelming because our thoughts, and remember, we have, I don't know exactly I should know, 90 million thoughts per day. 10% of them we're aware of. So when you're looking at this, when the darker the color gets, when it gets like yellow, orange, and red, that means you're at high risk for having lots of noise. So there's lots of noise, and gosh, I'm not stuck, but I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to grow. Let's grow, let's motivate, let's hustle. But you had mentioned a relationship. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Ugh, so overwhelming. Like, this is frustrating. That can create levels of stressful thoughts. And how do you think that can affect other parts of your life?
Oh, definitely.
How does it, or if you were to say, yeah, what else is it affecting? If you're stuck and overwhelmed, what could it affect? Or what is it affecting?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to affect business. It's going to affect, you know, the children, you know, and I'm saying, and, you know, not mine are older, but I'm just saying, in general, you know, what does these type of things affect?
Yeah.
You know, first of all, it will affect my business because it affects anybody's business when a relationship, any relationship, is not working in your life.
Yeah.
You know, even when it comes to, like, you know, father and son or mother and children. You know, I just recently got in the area. I was stuck in that area too. You know.
With your mother?
Yes,
oh.
Definitely. And
That feels really painful.
It is.
Hmm.
It is, and it's always bad when there's division, and a lot of things can cause division. And I believe that everybody should go into every situation with an open heart, open mind, and just open. If you don't, you close yourself out, then you definitely would lose people that's close to you.
Tell me more about, how do you close out? Do you close out?
In the beginning, I close out.
Yeah.
I'm a type of person that where I speak who I speak, and then I allow a person to hear or figure out what their response would be.
Yeah.
And or change would be. And after that, I close out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that I'm asking, I don't know if you had a chance to look. So we have the inner world and outer world.
Mm-hmm.
You have such clarity, which is a gift. So I want to really, your clarity with the inner world can sometimes put up walls because you're not clear, I'm not clear. And then it's like, wait a minute, what's wrong with I can't relate to them. They feel so fuzzy. So whoop, we put walls up. And our outer world, one of the first measurements this looks at is your connection with people. And so I noticed again, these are your thoughts. These are not you.
That's all good.
Your thoughts, I'm going to put some walls up.
Mm-hmm.
And you just said, okay, I'm closed. So I got real curious just because of this. Where do you feel closed? Are there relationships right now, or maybe in December? Because sometimes this assessment is situational too.
It's more. Okay, can we be honest? I'm gonna be 100% authentic. Where my really closed out come from? I feel. I just went through a whole. How can I say it? And this is gonna be.
You have permission to say pass.
This is the first time people are gonna hear this. A lot of people that's gonna hear this. I felt like I started closing myself out. When I started walking away from a religion. It really damaged me. I seen a lot growing up, and I felt like it wasn't authentic. And I felt like if anybody could be authentic with me, and it goes back to my parents and how I was raised and taught. Am I saying religion was wrong? I've never said that. I'm saying that there was a lot that I've witnessed in me, even preaching and teaching it, to where I felt like I had to close myself off because I believed all of this for all my life. And some of it is not, I feel personally, in different religions, a lot of it wasn't authentically real. And when you're taught as a child and you're, taught this, manipulated and controlled by it, that's all you know. That's all you believe. You don't have a chance to think on your own. You don't have a chance to make decisions on your own because you're gonna think this, you're gonna believe this, and someone is manipulating and controlling you and telling you what you should believe. And as I got older, I start talking more and start researching more and start doing my own, evaluations in growth. And I've seen a lot, and I go deeper than the average person. So I start asking, even family members questions. questions that they couldn't even answer. And it's not that the questions were, deranged questions. Simple questions like, who's the person on that book? Just simple questions. And it became into like a feud, and not like, oh, where is he going? Let's open our hearts and our minds to see where he at. We know that he has a little wisdom, knowledge, and maybe a little understanding. So it turned into a, shut you out because you don't believe what I believe. And I've witnessed that more than one time. As people, oh, you don't believe in this? Or you shouldn't work with him, or you shouldn't be around him. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we was based off love. And I've seen a lot of things that people just swept under the rug all my life, but remember, this child was manipulated and controlled and couldn't think for itself.
You're talking about you.
Yes.
Keep going. This is beautiful and raw.
As I'm growing up, I didn't think that nothing else mattered. And all I thought was what I was taught and what they put fear in me and controlling me, like I was gonna go to hell or, or whatever it was, That's just life. This is the only thing that only matters. So as I'm growing up and I'm starting to realize that this ain't the only thing that matters. I matter too. Who am I? I'm like, they're telling me who I should be. They tell me who I should be like. And who am I? And I'm starting to realize, and it took me a long time as an adult when I actually had to walk away and figure out, like, who am I? I've been told and taught, and somebody told me who I was all my life. And this is what I had to be, and this is who I had to be like.
I hear you had a complete shift of faith from a lot of pain with people. Like there was something happened where I want to grow, I want to discover. And so you did that and you were like ridiculed for it, or even like maybe metaphorically like kicked out.
Yeah, people, in some religions, they don't accept you if you don't believe the way they believe.
Yeah.
So, in certain religions, they'll call you the devil.
Yeah.
And really curse you.
Yeah.
And curse you with their mouths, but they're supposed to be blessing you with their mouths.
Yeah.
But they actually cursing you and saying, hey, you're the devil. But they're cursing and blessing at the same time. It's almost like witchcraft. To where people can, bless you and curse you at the same time. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this is supposed to be about love.
Did this recently happen?
To where my walk away?
Yeah.
I walked away in probably 2019.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So change of faith in the last 5 years.
Change of faith.
Jeez.
And I do believe in the principles of some of the books. And I live and I teach my children a lot about faith in God and creation and creator and principles. But I'm very strategic and I'm very careful what I teach my children what to believe. Because I can't have them believing that, even some demon or devil can touch their lives. I can't have my children believe that. You know what I mean? That they can have God at the same time and the devil, or this devil at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of manipulation and control that I dealt with growing up, and I found out, I believe, in my heart, that a lot of it is controlled. When I was able to think on my own, I had a lot of questions. And then when you have a lot of questions for people who that's been in whatever faith they've been in, they definitely will have a defensive mode immediately. Whether it's your mother, daddy, uncle, grandpa, whoever it is, whatever faith you're in, a person is immediately going to get offended by if you don't believe the way they believe or the belief in what they taught you.
That's your experience.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you've used the words manipulated and controlled several times.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're gonna have a lot of protection
Mm-hmm.
because I've felt manipulated and controlled. So let me just put up a layer of protection right now, because that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
If you felt like my whole life has been like I'm gonna use the word puppet. Like I have felt, at least the theories, I feel like I didn't decide this on my own. So no, you're so clear in your inner world, maybe within the last 5 years, because you've done all of this growth. And it's left you with this like, okay, but I gotta be really careful who I let in, because that hurts.
Definitely. I just believe people. I'm sorry. Go
Well, I
ahead.
was gonna say, does that wall feel up when you're in your relationship that you were previously talking about? Could it be?
No.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't feel like that, because I'm a type of person that gives chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. And why I'm saying that is, I'm going to, like I said before, I'm not going to let too many people in. I'm going to shut most of everybody out.
There's the walls. There's the walls. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you're close to me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're close to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to make sure that I love you and give you as much, you know, time to grow as possible.
What feels like you're yielding so much that you have to keep the peace? Where it's give you chance after chance after chance. Does that feel like I'm just going to compromise who I am again and again and again to keep the peace? Is there anything that resonates with that?
A lot of it comes from my faith.
Okay.
I believe when I was raised.
Yeah.
I did have some good, some great knowledge, wisdom, and growth from that era of my life. But I just think that, you know, it's who I am.
Are you willing to look past it's just who I am? Are you willing to say, okay, yielding to keep the peace can keep the peace, but what is that compromising? Is that compromising? Because you're so practical. Is it keeping you from something that you really want to do?
I get that.
Is it keeping you, okay, let me just do this to keep the peace, but I really want to be doing that. But I'm so practical, I can think so clearly, that just looks too dangerous. That's too much of a wild card.
Yes.
Yeah?
The reason why I feel like I try to keep the peace most of the time is because I'm a fixer.
So you want to fix
I want
something?
to fix it, whatever it is.
Fix a person?
Not just a person, because I know I can't fix a person.
Right.
I want to fix whatever the situation is. If there's drama,
Yeah.
you know, let's fix it.
What if you can't? What if your clarity can't fix it?
I'm trying to understand that and learn that.
Yeah.
That everything can't be fixed.
Yeah.
And in my head, like you're saying, in my subconsciousness, I don't want to believe it.
Yeah. So beliefs, that's your third brain. So we're talking about your thoughts. They stem from beliefs are hard to change. So you talk about changing your entire belief system. That's intense. I mean, that's gonna shake you up. Your entire belief system has changed.
I was shook. I was hurt.
Yes.
I was battered. I was bruised. I was when I walked away to where this is solely of what I believed. What you just said took a lot out of me, because it was years believing that, you know, this one thing. And then I like I said, that was the only thing that really mattered. You know, and that's what I was told. You know, but
those walls, can they affect your business? Because you say I only have people that are right here. And I mean, honestly, we maybe have 1 or 2 people in our life that really know us. I mean, that would be, and some people have none. But you say, I have these close people, but I would almost argue that your thoughts still have a wall up because I don't want to be manipulated. I'm my own person, and you have such clarity inside your brain, and that is a gift. And I keep saying that because it's a rare gift. A lot of people, their inner world is a mess. And that's why they're doing all of the self-help and the coaching, because their inner world, but yours isn't. Your risk noise is in the outer world. And I can know why. I mean, you had a change of faith. There were people that have hurt you. So stay here. It's a protection.
I try to, and like you say intuition. I say discernment, which is the same thing. I have a real good sense of discernment, and I can read people really well also.
Do you let people in?
I do. I give people a chance to get in.
Okay.
And it's rare, to be honest. It's rare.
Right, so that's this. It's rare.
Yes, it's rare.
What would change if you let someone else in? What would it change in business?
In business-wise?
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely, that's what I protect the most.
Your business?
Other than my family, of course,
Yes.
my children.
Yeah.
And, you know, I protect my business even when there's no money flowing.
Yeah.
So you just don't let nobody just come in your business.
Yes, you're very protective.
Yeah. So,
So this is work. This is how, if we're shifting to work, this is how your thought patterns will think of work. You're very passionate. Your thoughts are very passionate, meaning are you willing to not suffer, but are you willing to sacrifice for your work? And you are. You have a lot of passion. I want to do this, and I'm willing to sacrifice other things for it. And it's pretty aligned, okay? You're very protective, meaning are you maintaining what you've created? A lot of times with entrepreneurs, they're idea guys, meaning they love ideas, and the things they created, they don't maintain. Have you seen that before?
in my life?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. But what you're currently doing, yes.
Yes, I'm currently doing, I'm protecting
Yes.
because I've seen that before.
Yes.
And I think that, which a lot of people make mistake when in business is, and you made a good valid question, can I let people in? And I said a lot of times people will let anybody in, you know, and they don't, you know, and the whole ship can sink. So I'm very cautious who I let into my business, because not that I'm hiding, it is because that is one of the most things that's protected the most, you know, because one person can sink it.
I would be so curious is how the how the thoughts of that person is doing something different than what they believe in. I'm real skeptical, not going to let them in. And you're probably real quick to do it. You're probably, since you can read people, like right you said, you're probably real quick to be like, nope, let them out. And it comes from a subconscious experience of the manipulation feeling and the control feeling is, I'm going to be real skeptical of that. I'm going to protect my business, skeptical of that person. What would it be like to shift, to just notice the person more than I'm going to stay behind my wall? Because if you're behind a wall, they can't see you, but you can't see them either. So you don't have the ability to see the person behind the wall. They can't see you, so you're protected, but you're missing an opportunity to see them too.
Now, at the end of the day, I do try to give a person the benefit of doubt. But at the end of the day, I'm very good, and I'm not bragging.
No, brag away.
I'm very good on how I choose my friends. I'm very good on how I choose.
Because you've been hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very good on where I choose to go, where I choose to hang out.
Yeah.
I'm very particular on how I spend my money.
Yeah.
You know, how I save my money.
Yeah.
I'm very particular on who I let in. And right now my business is not like where do I have to, you know, hire like 50 people, you know what I mean? And then when it comes to that particular part of the business, then I would have to use wisdom to say, okay, someone else go in and choose someone else's judgment, because I can't choose. I can't make that decision. Read 50 people. I'm not that good, you know.
Yeah.
But in my small circle, who I'm allowing to help me build my my business right now, before as it is, I definitely can choose who works closest next to me.
Would you say, as a business owner, you're real good with the people you work with? You're close and connected with the people you work with?
Definitely.
Yeah? Do they feel that same way about you? If I were to say, hey, how is it working with Ronnie? What would they say?
What would they say? They would say that I'm straightforward.
Oh, okay.
They would say that I'm a hard worker.
I see that.
And I'm gonna outwork them all.
Yeah.
For sure.
Would they say you know them?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I definitely want to get to know everyone that is working around me.
Yeah. Cool.
That I'm working with.
What part of your business feels like you can't be you to keep the peace? I'm curious. Is there a part that you can't let that wall down because I need this to happen in business? Is there something like that? I'm wondering. There's this submissive, meaning, you know what? I work better by myself. I'm going to do this myself. You guys do it your way, and that's fine as long as I can do it my way.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
What are you seeing there? Let's just talk about
So compliant, basically, if I were to read it, you just honor rules and regulations and policies. Maybe someone is doing something outside of that compliance, and you think, okay, it's fine. You do what you got to do. I'm going to do what I got to do so I can keep the peace. I really know myself. I know my growth. I know what's going on, but it's fine. Let's just keep the peace. That's that submissive, not your submissive. The thoughts are.
Yeah, that is what you said. My submissive and being submissive, even to keep the peace.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at it like, you know, if I'm working with somebody, and if I have a partner, and I'm willing to, you know, share my thoughts, or if I'm willing to share, you know, what I can bring to the table, you know, and because you hit it on top of the head, and you said, and I feel like it's been overlooked. You know, I'm definitely going to get the compliant there.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to be the standoffish.
Yeah.
Because you didn't take what I was saying into consideration, you know. So you do your thing and I'll do my thing. That's where you got that
Yes,
from.
because you have so much clarity with who you are. Let me just do my thing. I'm not going to pay attention to you. There's the wall. I'm not going to notice what's important to you. There's the wall, which is, it's okay. It's protective. And let's just, to keep the peace.
To a certain degree.
On. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So explain that. Because there's a part of you that was like, no.
No, to a certain degree.
Okay.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm always going to be open. I'm always going to be authentic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if a person comes to me and asks me, you know, I shut people out of my life, you know, like, you know, no new friends. That's like the closeout, you know what I mean? And I might let you in, you know what I mean, to get to know you. It's a possibility. But if I'm working with you, you know, or I have a relationship with you, I close you out if I over and over and over and over and over and over express myself, you know, whatever relationship it is, whether it's, you know, hey, we at the gym and we have a gym relationship, whether, you know, a best friend or a spouse or, you know, a business partner, you know, I feel that, and this is to be honest, I feel that, you know, what I'm saying is valuable.
Yeah.
And I have spent time, you know what I mean, trying to figure out how to, you know what I mean, and like I have a gift in business. So if I have a business person or partner or that can't see that, you know what I mean?
They probably can't, because you are so practical Not many people are like that. So your gift and ability to see your dreams so clearly, and you feel so much joy about your life. You have so much clarity with who you are. You'll start to notice other people don't have that if you could take your wall down a little bit, because that wall is blocking you from seeing that person. Because I bet you do have a lot of clear thoughts.
But you just hit it on top of the head. You said if I take the wall down and give that and give that, understanding. That was the critical part about that. To understanding that they might not be able to see that.
Yeah, not because they're wrong or bad. It's their inner dialogue is so noisy. And it comes from the story that you just said 5 years ago. You had a complete shift of faith, and now you have all these stories. These people are manipulating, controlling. So, of course you have your wall up. Why wouldn't you? That's hurtful. And that can affect how you reach out to other people in business. And so if people tell, oh, well, you can think clearly, but he's not letting me in. And he doesn't see me either. He thinks I think like him. I don't think like him. I think differently. So, and then if you're skeptical, your thoughts are skeptical, well, this person actually sucks. What they're saying they didn't do. So, okay, no new friends. No new friends. I don't want any new friends. People are skeptical. I got to protect myself. But you're so comfortable with who you are, you're going to keep going. The misconnections with people, I bet that feels tough. Because then that's what we love. We love connection with people. As humans, we are bred to connect. I mean, isolation is like punishment. But what do we do when we don't feel connected? We isolate. Like, we do the opposite. I just was reading something on how we actually love. When we're hurt, we do the opposite because we're complex. And so you actually love connecting with people. And if you're hurt or your thoughts are hurt, okay, just stay out. I'm totally fine. I love myself. I'm in this growth. I know who I am, which you do. But share it. He's like, nope.
No, I mean, I do love connecting with people. I ministered and I taught for her.
You did. So I have so many questions. I don't even know if we can be specific. I'm like, well, what did you leave, or where are you now? Are we allowed to say all that?
Whatever you guys
Whatever
want.
You want.
Yeah, we're
so
like,
what
you see how
did you
raw
leave?
we are.
Yeah. I know, it's a different kind of wild today.
Yeah, it's a different wild. Yeah.
So where did you leave, or what did you go? What happened? Are you? If you feel comfortable.
No, I'm
sharing.
comfortable sharing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't. I believe religion is man-made. I believe that who we call God, our Father, Creator, I believe that He does not, and most people call Him something, but most people, when you hear God or Father or Creator, they're talking about the same person.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the end of the day, the same person that we talk about, people have created all these different religions. So this is what happened to me. I've seen all these different religions, and there's like over 4,000 different religions. So I'm like, wait a minute. I had to start questioning. And this is like, hey, is this the God that, the one God that we all supposed to believe in, creating all these different religions?
What did you grow up as? Or what did you grow up believing?
I grew up in Christianity, like a Christian faith.
Yeah, okay.
And
Something shifted.
It shifted. I started.
It feels nervous.
Well, my dad passed away in 2018. So when he passed away in 2018, and I'm not saying that God is not a healer. I wasn't expecting God to heal him. It just had nothing to do with it. Like, he was already, the cancer has been in his body over 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
But I started to, I was watching him, and I was watching him pray, and I was watching his faith, and he's, God gonna heal me, God gonna heal me. And we were just having faith with him,
Yeah.
It was just expectation. And not saying that, everybody's has a design purpose and time to when they're going to leave this earth. So I didn't use that as why my faith has been shook, because God did not heal my father, not at all. I had already had children, like my son. He was very young, asking me questions, some deeper questions that I've never been asked, even in my ministry. Like, whoa.
So you were a pastor?
Yes.
Wow.
I started off a youth pastor, and then I became assistant pastor. I was never a senior pastor, but I was always assistant pastors at a couple different churches.
You know, I'm going to interrupt. It is my favorite when I talk with pastors or people that work with faith. They're the most guarded thinkers. And I want to say, I think because you've seen some stuff.
Yes,
it's
I've
just
seen
like,
some.
I just want to put walls up. People are crazy.
I've seen some stuff.
I bet you have.
You know, and
yeah.
and then we use this thing that's called, you know, no one's perfect. Yeah, no one is perfect, just like us. So why do we, as me, still judging the world or judging people? And then we have our own things with that. But my dad passed in 2018, and he was crying out for his life. Father, help me, God, help me. And I was seeing this, and I was watching that, and that started to open up my mind and my heart. Yeah, we all have our purpose and our plan here in life, and when it's time to go, it's just time to go. But what got me the most was my eyes are start opening up, you know, and to the world. Then questions now, like I have questions, you know, like am I supposed to be, you know, having, you know, that his faith, you know, his faith was like giant faith.
Your dad's faith?
My dad's faith, all the way till he was gone.
Yeah.
You know, he
Man
believed
of faith.
that man of faith. He could believe God was going to heal him. And I questioned myself, is I'm supposed to have that type of faith? And my faith in why faith? So I started questioning. I said, God, I said, Creator, Father, open my eyes to everything that's not you. Open my ears to everything that's not you.
That's an interesting prayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people don't do this. They just want to pray for things to come into their life, the beautiful things, and to show me the glorious things.
Yeah.
They're not asking who they feel that created them to open up their heart, their minds, because they're not even doing that with their loved ones. They're already closed out when people are coming to try to share something different with them that's other than their faith. So they're closed out already if you go into them saying, hey, what about this? They're going to shut you down immediately.
They don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about it because they had already been manipulated, cruel. This is what they believe. I've seen the miraculous hand of God. But guess what? You don't have to be just in that religion to see the miraculous hand of God. If he's a God of all, you know, he will bless anybody and anyone. So I'm asking God to open up my eyes, my heart, and everything, my mind to who he is, and show me what is not him and what and my faith.
Yeah.
You know, not just from what I seen that wasn't right growing up. You know what I mean? Being controlled of what you dress, how you talk, and you're doing this only in church. And then when you come out of church, you're a total different person.
Wow. So you saw people being like what they professed on Sundays or Saturdays or whatever.
And Wednesdays and choir rehearsals.
Yeah.
All my life.
They were different outside of those spaces?
100%. I saw my mom and I saw my dad. You know, I've seen even pastors and preachers and teachers. Yeah. You know, and this is authentically. Even myself.
You've used that word so many times too, authentic.
Yeah, even
that is a pain point for you for sure. Like they weren't authentic to you.
No.
So that makes you that makes your thoughts skeptical.
Right.
Like, is what they're saying actually what they're doing? Because my whole life that wasn't true.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when we talk about 100% authentic, you have to be the same person, not just lip service and talking about, hey, this is who I am on church on Sunday mornings and Saturdays and Wednesdays. But guess what? You letting stuff slide. No. I had to figure out who I was and not what they told me I was. Now I don't hide who I am.
But now, you do.
Yes, okay. I close out.
But I think you have such a passion to want to be authentic, but it's scary. It's scary because that person's going to hurt me. What if I do show who I am and then they hurt me? And I don't even know if I'm using the right words, but I can sense you. Even when I came on the first page, you want to be authentic. You want to be authentic.
I think that's the only way to really be, but I
it's
think
hard.
I just think people are not in tune with who they are.
Because you are though.
Yeah, they're scared of the judgment, not just the judgment, of the anticipation of who I've already said I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
who I've already who I've already pertained to be. So that was hard for me because now a lot of these people are watching. Like he was a minister, he was a preacher, and he's a teacher. you know, and now he has, you know, it's just, no, I just don't believe in religion. I believe God didn't create religion. I believe man came and built all these 4,000 religions and told, this is how you should be. This is who you are. This is how you should live.
So I feel like you're talking, there's a difference between faith and religion, where you have faith, but maybe the religion aspect you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Is that what I hear?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And the faith, I believe the faith part is more authentic. I can't say all the way authentic because you're believing in something that you can't see.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, but the on the religion side, I don't believe it's authentic. I believe it's teaching, it's taught. This is how you.
I have a fun question, and I'm jumping. How do you feel about rules that don't make sense?
That don't make sense. I tend to stay away from
Yes.
that don't make sense.
So that's this discipline. This you have an entrepreneur brain, and I know your viewers can't see it, but if I ask that question, every entrepreneur that you ask, they say, "Oh, I don't listen to them." But imagine a non-entrepreneur. They listen to all the rules. Maybe the people on Sunday, they're listening to all the rules, right? But then I see this with people who are trying to follow diets. You give them a bunch of rules, they don't do any of them. So I'm thinking, why aren't they doing any of this? What's going on in their thought patterns? Well, they don't like rules that don't make sense. So it doesn't make sense to eat 150 grams of protein a day. At least it doesn't make sense for them. So they're not going to do it. They're very entrepreneur. So for me as their coach, it's like, okay, cool. We have to have them come up with their own rules, which you've done. You have your own rules. Now I'm speaking kind of like metaphorically. You have your own religion rules for Ronnie.
And you're 100% right.
Yeah.
110% right.
You don't want to listen to rules that don't make sense.
No, if they don't make sense.
But God beautifully designed you that way. How beautiful that you have a creative brain like that. It's a skill.
I was manipulated and I was controlled for so long. And people are telling me.
And they probably didn't realize you had the brain.
Didn't know I had. I knew I had that type of brain. That's why I was kind of fighting against my own self. And when you said, and like I told last week, a couple people, I said, I've never actually took time and just focused on what I really wanted to do. It was always, you know, better doing things for other people. You know, that would of course benefit me also.
Yes, yeah.
You know, but also mostly the things that I've done, and my life was basically built around someone, my children or my relationship or my friends. You know what I mean? It was always built around them. I never built nothing for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy he says that because I can see the difference from that time.
Because you've known him this long.
So like when you were working here, I could see the difference of exactly what you're saying. That's kind of crazy that you said that because your life was kind of built like that, but now you're like, now it's for you. Now you're building it for you.
And
that's crazy because it's a complete different shift in who he is.
Yeah.
From then to now.
Huh.
I was really built, and like so. That's why I'm trying to, even with my voice, be careful with religion.
Yeah.
Because this is only matters. This matters the most.
Yeah.
You have people, they go to school, they go to college, and they teach that a little bit, but this matters more than anything.
Yeah.
So I was in a stage to where, you know, it was just do this.
Yeah.
You know, and serve people.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
Whoever I got to serve, I'm serving.
And inside you were a mess, maybe.
And I never knew what it looks like to serve myself.
Oh.
I never knew what it looked
And
like.
I think sometimes in church speak too, and I say that with love, there's so much focus on other people, but the Bible verse is actually love the Lord your God with your heart and your soul or mind, and love your others. Isn't it as yourself?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times in church speak, the like self-care culture is demonized, if I keep talking church speak, but wait a minute, it's actually in there. We're not saying only love yourself, love others, but I can't love you
unless I love myself.
So you might be in this phase, or you're thinking, isn't this crazy? We're talking about this all from here. You're loving yourself. You're figuring that out, what that looks like.
And that has been my goal now.
Yeah.
It's like, because, and like you said, I want to touch bases on what you said.
Yeah.
Because I taught that so hard, is loving God or loving others like you love yourself.
Yeah.
And that's, like you said, is frowned upon. because anytime you get a little pride or a little something about yourself, it's always saying being humble. Be humble. They direct you right back to be humble. Make sure you be humble.
Yeah.
Humble is inside of you. Humble is who you are. You cannot teach that.
No.
You know, you're trying to tell somebody to be humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A person can't be humble unless it's them, who they are.
Yeah.
You know, and at that time, you know, you telling people to be humble. That's fine, 100%. Everybody should be humble. But at the end of the day, you have to teach even something greater is have pride in yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I think, it's all semantics. Pride and all that stuff can be so shunned. But
Right.
What's love?
Right.
Love yourself isn't
Right.
pride.
Yes.
It's not self-seeking. It's just say the verse. Whatever the verse, you probably could say it more than I could. 1 Corinthians 13. That definition of love.
Love is patient. Love is kind. You know, and all these things I do believe in it, and
Yeah.
these are the principles that I do try to.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I completely don't believe the Bible
Right.
or any religion or books, because they're all out there to try to teach something positive.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have some that's teaching you,
Reality.
yes, or something negative.
Yeah.
You have negative teaching in religion too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, hopefully they're all trying to teach people to grow as a person and be better. And that's what I take from religion, my religion, which was Christianity now. I don't take it as more of a reality thing. Like, oh, you know what I mean? I don't take it as, I take it in as spiritual personal growth for people.
Well, and you look at, keeping on with Christianity, Jesus' relationship with people, he came and rocked what their definition of religion was. And so he loved the people. He would talk with people that people cast aside and said, I can't believe he's talking with those people, right? But he met the person first.
Right.
His walls were down. I keep going back to the walls. And so this is how entrepreneurs work. They don't like rules that don't make sense. And I bet your brain is always on. You have a very busy brain.
It never shuts off.
Yeah. So what do you do to quiet your brain?
You
said never. So you never sleep?
I'm starting to get more sleep now.
It was bad before.
For years, it was bad. I'm talking about 3.5, 4 hours if
Ooh.
I'm lucky.
Ooh.
And
you'd show up and live life on 4 hours of sleep? That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Impressive. That's exhausting. The body doesn't know. So talking about like the mindsets, and I get this a lot from my coach. So Paul, I don't know if you watch this, but the mind and then the heart and the gut, like the spiritual is very, our brain can't really grasp faith. We can talk about it, but to feel faith, all this stuff. I totally lost my train of the mindset, or what you kind of were talking about, this busy brain, it makes the entire body tired. So when your thought patterns are tired, your whole body's tired. When you're not sleeping, your whole body's tired. And it doesn't know the difference. You're just tired. You're just exhausted. Which I think sometimes our hustle culture prides ourselves on that, right? You guys been in spaces where it's like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm working so hard. And it's like a brag, like a silent brag. But it's like, man, I don't want to be exhausted all the time. That's not a trophy.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Right.
Because if your executive functioning in your brain isn't rested, you can't connect with people as well. You can't, talking about diet, you can't cue hunger and fullness as well. It's like you're half working. And so it's actually, if you show up well rested and you had lots of play and fun and connection, that can be the trophy. Not I'm exhausted. But that's not the current hustle culture at all. At least in my experience.
Right.
It's better to be exhausted. It's better to have this busy brain.
That's what this is.
Yeah, obsessive doesn't mean you're obsessive. It means you probably have really good ideas. If you see something being done, you're like, oh, I have a better idea. Let's do it this way. I have a really good idea. Let's do it that way. And it's just always on.
Never goes off.
Yeah. And then this, distracted. I have this one too. This one is, if you're doing something and the phone pops up or someone interrupts you, you're just kind of going ding, 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 ding. Just distracted a lot. Mm-hmm. That's me. And you say you work with kids?
Young adults.
Yeah. So they're probably, I can imagine how it's just you're like putting out fires more than preventing fires from starting. Does that resonate?
I get it.
Okay. Where does that show up for you? Where do you feel distracted? I'm a mother of 2 boys. Always distracted. Unless I'm sitting here with you guys. But if my boys were here, it would be...
One of the jobs that I call for, that calls for me is, helping people. And I tend to, people call me. And
they interrupt your flow.
I have to answer. So
you
it's
have to answer. I love that story.
Yeah, it's a part of my job.
Okay.
So I tend to...
You're Superman.
No. I'm a growing man.
But the thoughts are, I've got to answer. That's a very... Well, what if I don't? I mean, I get emergencies.
So the distraction come from what this is trying to... And what you're saying is, like, picking stuff up and have to get back to it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of my life. You know what I mean? I pick up a project or pick up this, and sometimes it get way over my head. Yeah, no. And sometimes I have to say, hold on, this is going to be distracting this over here, and this over here, and this over here, and this over here. So,
okay. Better way to put it. And I had to look at my notes to think of a good question. Share a time, we're talking about this distracted thought pattern, when you had a difficult task ahead. Say it was a difficult conversation, or it could be anything, right? And when it came time to do it, you're like, oh, but maybe I'll just I'll do this. I'm going to do a couple more things before I got to do that. Is there anything that resonates with?
Recent?
Yeah. Anything come to mind? When maybe it was a budget or a bill or a conversation, anything where, I have to pay this, I have to have this conversation, but I'm going to go clean I'm just speaking from my experience. I'm going to go clean the kitchen. I'm going to go do this. Oh, I should probably fold the laundry. And then when you actually go do the thing, it wasn't so bad, but you were people call it ADHD, which is a superpower, but I'm just distracted. And that could show up in any way. Maybe not how I'm describing it. Uh-oh.
Only time I get distracted really like that is when I gotta pay them credit card bills.
I love that.
I ain't trying to put out that fire. Like, that thing can burn.
Yeah, but it's there. It's not going
there.
away.
Yeah, and I be having the money to pay it too, to be honest.
Yeah, so
100%.
What is that? Why do we do that?
No, I don't know.
I think everybody does that. I'm like,
No.
It's the fifth thing.
my dad doesn't.
No, but some people be having more than enough money to pay that $120 bill.
Yeah, what is it?
And I don't know. And I think that
If you did know,
that's
knock on that
You're
door.
like, that's my money.
that's a really bad habit, because
It just comes from our thoughts. So habits of thinking stem from the thoughts. There's some part of us that's like, I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to do a million other different things. What is it about that you don't want to do? Because you do it eventually. And if that were aligned, if there was, okay, I'm going to schedule Mondays to pay my bills, how much energy would that free up besides this frantic?
For sure.
Yeah. That would make you more productive.
For sure.
You're laughing.
Because I used to have someone pay my bills for me here. I didn't want to see them. Just pay it. Just pay these, okay? Please. I didn't want to.
Denial is powerful.
No, the mental damage that you do to your brain with not paying it on time. Because you're just like, I could have paid it yesterday. And then you go a whole 3, 4 days, 5 days a week and be like, thinking about that same bill that you just could have just went and paid.
I didn't even pay my rent on something, right? I paid like 6 days late.
Yeah.
And I had to pay
Everybody's
$150 extra. I'm like, what an idiot.
I know.
Why did I do that? I could have just paid it.
Right.
Like, yeah.
It's just this is the most common unbalanced with people is we're distracted. And think about our culture. We are on all the time. It took in the last year, I've started to put my phone on like do not disturb. But I was like, if I do that, people can't contact me. What is that? I'm here with you guys.
AC.
Oh yeah.
AC. Can you get the AC on?
It's hot.
Yeah.
So anyway, it can be, but all the mental anguish that you have about that thing that you have to do, it's just wasted energy. And I do believe every thought is energy. I don't know if you know anything about quantum physics, but putting a thought out into the universe is what you kind of get back, and that energy, thoughts carry energy. So if you're distracted, how is that going to help you connect with people or be more productive in your day or have more time for sleep? Probably lost sleep over paying that bill. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Right now,
Yeah.
Open.
Open? Does it feel like there's clarity?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
You mentioned something earlier about authentic.
Yes. You
And I
like
want-
that word?
Yes, and I want to go back to that because you said that's good. You know, a lot of people don't want to. They're scared of that, or they don't want to. How would you say it? I don't want to quote unquote you, but you just was basically, and I'm paraphrasing. I'm not
Yeah.
saying what you
I don't remember
exactly
what I
said,
said either.
but basically you was like, that's tough. That's hard for other people.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the part for me, the hardest part for me to deal with when,
When other people are not?
yes.
Yeah.
So that's where the most of my closing out comes from, because in relationship, don't you supposed to be authentic with the
Oh, yeah.
person? And a lot of the relationships, whether it's friendship relationships, whether it's girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, we're not authentic with them. We don't tell them how we truly feel. So that makes us untruthful, and a lot of people, they hide the truth, or they just like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. I've been dealt with that all my life, and I'm going back to the close. Why I'm so closed out is I'd rather for people to be authentic with me, because I want to trust.
You want them to play their cards first.
Yeah, I want to trust.
Yeah.
I want to be able to trust, and I know that if somebody can't trust me, I don't need to be around you. And that's how I live my life. If you can't trust me, I shouldn't be around you.
Why wouldn't they trust you?
I know. I'm just saying if
Yeah.
someone couldn't.
Yeah.
So if I can't trust somebody, why would I want to be around that person?
My curiosity is if they can't trust you, maybe it's not about you, it's usually not. It's about them. Something's happened to them where trust is really hard because they've probably been hurt or they've never experienced trust. I think a lot of being authentic can stem from how we view ourselves. And if you have such clarity, remember, if someone feels like they're a piece of crap, why would I share my piece of crap with you? I'm a piece of crap. I don't deserve to be seen. You don't have that, which is a gift. I keep saying this again and again and again.
Say it. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
You just said.
If I feel awful about myself, why would I want to show you that?
So, and how I would look at it, and yes, from a point of view of a person not knowing me, but the presentation will always be getting to know somebody as, openly.
Yeah.
You're
going to present that way?
I would try to present that way.
I love that. Okay.
I would try to present that,
What does trying look like?
Being me,
Being you.
not have to, put on a mask to come out.
Yeah.
It's an aura.
And this is the last 5 years because it felt like a mask for a while.
I felt like a mask.
Yeah.
I felt like, even, you go and I preach and I teach what you shouldn't be watching, and then I go home and watch it on TV. What you shouldn't be listening to, and then I go home and listen to it on TV. How
the
you shouldn't be
complexities
talking.
of being a human.
Right. So it was like we're doing
Yeah.
these things, and I'm putting on a mask too. Why don't I just take the mask off?
Yeah.
And just be a good person.
One of my favorite parts of church. So I'm a member of a local church, and I'm the only member of my family. My husband isn't a member, and my faith story is always interesting. But my favorite part is when I learned that I don't think he's there anymore, but one of the guitarists, he told his story on how he was doing drugs and coming to church and playing the guitar. And then he'd be high, he was doing all kinds of stuff. And then come to church and just fake it. I loved it because I was like, finally, someone who is actually authentically telling his story. And I think he corrected his ways since then.
For real.
But it was it's so refreshing to hear instead of, both stories are good. They're not good or bad. When you have people who have lives of faith and it's beautiful to watch. But for me, it was like, oh, he was a human. He is a human. I like hearing the struggle. See, and I think that's me too. I like hearing what's happened to you because it makes me feel better.
I definitely don't like. Religion is needed, and I teach this all the time. Religion is needed. Religion controls the masses, you know. So it controls and teaches. It should teach, you know, a way of life, a way to understand who God, Father, Creator is. But we have to be careful in the manipulation and control and the mask that we do put on. Like humanity, we are human. You're looking at a pastor that is human. That he's not going to tell you all of his shortcomings, all of his failures, all his mind. What is he thinking? You know.
So in the sermon on Sunday, the pastor, they were talking about things that humans do, and he said something about, well, I've lusted after women, and he was like, well, I have, and it was like, oh, it's so refreshing because you know he's just a male human in our culture today.
It's not I have it. I still do. I'm let's be authentic. I'm human.
Yeah.
If I'm a grown man with a flesh-filled body.
Yes.
It's not I have. It's when I see this beautiful woman walk down, and if it's 10,
quick.
if it's 20, I'm going to look. I have looked and might not undressed her with my eyes, but I'm going to look. Let's be real.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's be authentic. That's a woman. You know what I mean? One of the most beautiful creations that God have created.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's be real. And we are men. You know what I mean? But see, that's the part, you know, I struggle with.
Yeah.
And I struggle with then. You know what I mean? It's like me, like, you can't say that. Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
You know,
I love that we called this episode Subconscious, and we like quickly went to the unseen. Like, faith is unseen. And so it was just by looking at your subconscious, we quickly went to your unseen and your faith and your crisis of faith, and that's affecting your thoughts. And
I think it affected a whole lot of my life.
Oh, when you shared that, I went, oh, there it is. Holy crap. And so sometimes like you could do this every 6 months to kind of look at where your thoughts are, but you want to pay attention. Where am I not connecting with people? What's happening where I feel like I need to put a wall up? And it's all like, it can happen in seconds. You can tell, oh, their wall went up in a conversation. They're perfect. Nothing is wrong. I like how you said, we all pay this bill, you know, or whatever. Like, how many people do that but don't talk about it, right? That's the unseen. And our subconscious is the unseen. Faith is the unseen. Humans like to do things in the unseen.
And are you going to be real with me when I do let you in? Are you going to be honest and who you are, or am I going to get the character?
What do you think takes, what does it take for someone to be seen?
To be seen?
Yeah. This is more a question to consider. I don't have the answer.
I think to be seen, there's a lot to be seen. We have a lot, and we're going to go to the reality of it. I believe that what people think is to be seen is what social media, look at me, whatever that calls for, you know. But I believe that a person who wants to be seen without that type of world, that reality world, that fake world, that social media world, that, you know, look at me behind closed doors. This is not who really I am. This is not me. This is not who I am. This is just a social media, Facebook, Instagram me.
Yeah.
Or this is just the church me. Or this is just the work me. In order to see who a person really is, or to show me who you really are, I believe you should be genuine. No, you know, not trying to prove who you are.
Yeah.
You know, not try to put on a show.
Yeah. I know growing up, that was really hard for me. I grew up with a father who wanted the right answer all the time. And so I spent most of my childhood, okay, what's the right answer? In my head, not actually how I felt. Let me just say the right answer so I can get out of here. Let me just say the right answer so I can not be in trouble. I mean, that jacks you up later.
Yeah.
Because then you can't, not jacks you up, but you have to like, okay, how do I really feel? I have to like actually think about it, not what is the right answer.
And we've been trained since we were children to lie, be manipulated, and control. We've been trained as children. You know what I mean? Did
you guys ever have someone say children should be seen and not heard?
Right.
Yeah. How
That was
messed
a
up is
story of our
that?
life. Yeah, that was a story of our life.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Yeah, but people still say that.
Right.
My husband said it the other day, and I was like, shush,
Right.
don't say that.
So when you're growing up, they take your voice away from you. You know what I mean? You have to abide by their rules because I'm your dad and I'm your mom. Shut up. You don't know better than me. I'm your mom. I'm your parent.
Yeah.
You know, so parents, we have to be careful of that. You know, you snatch your child's voice away when they're young.
Yeah.
You know, you're snatching more than just their voice.
But
know?
how many times do we do that in relationships?
A lot.
Do we not give our spouse or loved one a voice because we think we know?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the wall. That's the wall. That's 100% the wall. And even just this weekend, my husband and I were navigating something, and it was like, okay, what is he trying to say? What is he trying to say? Because I have no idea what he's trying to say. It's coming across different, but what's important to him right now? Can I notice him right now without my walls going up? It's so hard because I don't want to be hurt. Right? I want to protect myself. I don't want to be manipulated. I want to be controlled. So with your faith story, okay, is this person really authentic? And if they're not, whoop, walls up. Can I show them who I am and protect myself at the same time? That's hard.
I think more of letting people in for business will be more of my having to let people in so my business can grow.
Yeah.
But my personal relationship, my personal life, I think I have enough friends.
We're older now.
Yeah, I'm older.
Like, I'm done.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to let too many.
That's fun. I'm in my 40s, and I will say there is like a shift where you get kind of really more fun friends in the 40s. It's really because people don't care as much. There isn't. I mean, some people care, but
you
some
stop
people,
caring.
You do.
You're like, I don't care. This is who
People,
I am. It is
they're
what
more
it is.
authentic.
Yeah.
At least I've found in my immature 40.
I
I'm
think
41.
that's true.
Yeah.
Because everything else is like an image.
It
kinda.
is.
It's all image.
It is.
And I just can't stand image a lot of the time. It's
It
just
is.
like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm scary right here. What is the consistent scary part in the red?
That's distracted.
Oh, that's the distracted
That's
part.
the distracted. That's
Okay.
So I think of when you are productive, anything in life. Can you say, okay, today I'm going to check emails from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So that's not a typical entrepreneur characteristic. We're kind of everywhere.
I'm not.
And it's
Just gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Right.
he ain't a typical
Okay, but the growth-
at anything. He's not typical.
the growth.
I have
part,
somebody do that for me.
Yes. The growth part is being aware, okay, I can show up as distracted. I can show up, my thoughts can. What would it be like to have an hour where I'm just doing this? Or let's start small, 15 minutes. I'm just going to do this for 15 minutes. And how much more productive. If we had like pen and paper, I would have you guys do this exercise on multitasking where if we're distracted, our brain and our IQ goes, whew, it really, really goes down. So by being intensely focused, one thing at a time, you're actually more productive, you have better energy, and you're smarter. Your IQ goes up.
Well,
And so when we're distracted and doing things bouncing off, it's like a version of multitasking, which is not productive for business.
and I should not have 10,000 unread messages on my email.
Oh, I know. There's like two types of people, like the one that has all clear notifications and then the one that have 10,000. I'm the 10,000. I probably have 10,000 emails unread, which is, what kind are you?
Man.
I have,
check everything
I'm
off?
different because I have people that are looking through certain emails, so I know which ones I gotta read and don't
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
But the ones that I read, I have to go through them. I got no choice because that's affecting my business. So I mean, I'm going through it, and my whole thing. Well, I don't want to get out because I like this one being on him right now.
Okay.
So, but like, yeah, we can go on mine next time.
Yeah.
Let this one be all Ronnie.
So it's okay. How is the, what am I avoiding? It's more like, okay, there's this task and I don't really want to do it. Like paying your credit card bill, you said.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Why, what's going on where I don't want to pay it? And then I choose to do 5 other things before I pay that. Versus if I just paid it, then I could probably go take a nap. So your thoughts are, let me avoid this. Let me just get distracted with this. Let me just bounce around.
Is that necessarily something like that, or could it be like, I don't want to have this discussion
Could be that.
about something like in a relationship, like girlfriend or something? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it could be anything. That has
It
to do
could
with
be,
that, right?
this is a really uncomfortable thing I don't want to do right now. and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to avoid doing this.
Okay.
I'm going to distract myself from it. So it might not be the personality
I
distracted.
don't think that's Ronnie. I would think he'd be more like because you handle your business. You're like very structured on that.
So is there something you're avoiding doing?
Especially in a relationship,
You're very straightforward.
I'm a vocal person.
Yeah.
And I try to get the best understanding that I can in a relationship.
Is there anything you're avoiding doing that you think of in a relationship, or if something is interrupting you, how do you handle interruptions in a conversation, or how do you handle interruptions?
I'm
in
like
business?
it's the normal, like the closed part as we talked about earlier. I say my piece, and I give you an opportunity to say your piece also. And once you say your piece, I say my piece. We move on.
Okay, so if that conversation was interrupted, or like, how would you handle it? Or if that person dodged the conversation or avoided it, how would you handle it?
If a person dodged the conversation, if we was in a conversation and they actually,
Or sidetracked
my question,
Yeah.
I definitely would remember the question and go back to the question.
Okay, yeah. And so I would make a mental note and get back to it right away.
And
This is so hypothetical.
85% of the time.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say 85% of the time, because sometimes I just let things go. But
Yeah.
most of the time I don't let it go, especially if I'm in a relationship and we're having a conversation and we're talking, it's going to get brought up.
Right.
Because...
Well, and then maybe sometimes you let it go to keep the peace. You're like, oh,
yes.
Okay, we'll just talk about that. Like, I don't have to talk about it.
Or I might already know the answer to it also.
Yeah,
I just
maybe.
trying to bring it up back to surface so we can,
Approach it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just paying attention to what am I avoiding. This is mostly thinking about discipline and structure.
Mm-hmm.
What am I avoiding, and how am I avoiding it?
Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to say that I am perfect and just attacking or communicating
Oh, it's hard.
to people,
Yeah.
when things are bothering me in a relationship. I'm not saying that I'm perfect in that area.
Yeah.
I have more success in doing it and approaching and say, hey, this is how I feel. Mm-hmm. But I have struggled.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently got my best friend back in my life, and we was apart for a couple years, and that was a struggle and approach.
Yeah.
Knowing that we've hurt each other. We've been best friends for 20-some years. You know what I mean? So
That's painful.
yeah. So that was a hard approach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or it was maybe easier to avoid.
It was way
sometimes.
easier to avoid after it was after the beginning of hard. Like, how are we going to play this out? How's this going to play out? And it's not the fact that, it's just the time that went by.
Yeah.
And normally I don't let time go by that much. You know what I mean? But it was a tough situation.
Yeah. So instead of distracted, maybe think avoid. What are you avoiding? That could be another word. And these are just words or labels to describe thought patterns.
Because we all have them little distractions.
Oh, yeah. I
But
have things
the
I
avoid
avoid,
is
too.
right.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could think of 5 things right now where I don't want to do that right now. I'd rather do that. I'd rather look at this online or buy this plant or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But I try to, majority of face it, because being hidden so long with the mask on, you know what I mean? You're not real.
Yeah, I think when I looked at your assessment, it it was usually when I work with people, their inner world feels so messy, and that would show up as I know what to do, I just don't know how to do it. Yours is flipped, where the outer world feels a bit messy. I don't exactly know how to connect with this person, or work feels a little, working and structure feels a little off, and that's on entrepreneur. It's called like controlled chaos. That's our world.
Yeah, definitely. Jeez.
This is good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm interested to see mine. We're gonna have to
Right?
do another episode.
Okay. Yeah, it's
I'm
always. I haven't done mine for a while because I used to do it a lot, and I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to do the work right now. And so I think it's like a good check. Like, where is my subconscious? What's happening for me right now?
So what do you think I should work on?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Connection with people, and are you able to see people?
The crazy thing I think about Ronnie is the people that he sees.
Do they see him though?
But like, yeah, I think they. I mean, I want to say when I first met Ronnie, and we were hanging out a lot. Not like we hanging out. Like no, he was. I don't feel like we seen him. He had a lot of walls. I feel like he dropped these walls. I feel like he dropped these walls, and he's like, "This is me."
Here,
yeah. But I think he does that to his friends.
Yeah.
And like people he is around a lot.
Yeah.
But to like people he don't know, he definitely has walls up.
Yeah.
Like he's,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
people I
saying?
don't
Like
know.
I feel like, and he has a lot of friends, so he's definitely has his. I think a lot of his walls down with friends.
Yeah.
Or people he chose with like, on a constant basis. But like people he don't know, he definitely has walls up.
Immediately.
Like
Yeah, well, and it's your
immediately.
thoughts. So I think it's just your thoughts, and walls are there. They're meant to protect something, and so you know your value. You know yourself. You're very confident in that. So you know there's something valuable to protect. But when you have a wall, I also can't see you. And people love to be seen. It's so rare, even if you're at the store, when you see people and you look them in the eye and you say, "Hey, how's your day?" Say, "Oh, good." You know, it's such American culture to, "Hi, how are you?" Right? It's just so common. But to actually say, "No, hey, how are you?" And listen and respond.
I think I've been seeing that lately. I think from doing the podcast, we have guests in here. I don't think they've ever been talked to and like been brought into
Yeah.
a position where you're talking to them and you're bringing them
Yeah.
out. And like for instance, I had a few people just break down in here because I'm like, and I've never been like that with a person, like to the point where I'm going to be like bringing you out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think in reality, a lot of the times it was always what I'm thinking, what I need to get done. What I don't care what's going on, you know. But this is changing my whole view on people.
People love to tell their story.
And
they
a lot of times they've
love-
never been seen. They've never been seen. I think a lot of people have never been seen.
Especially, I think one of the biggest, if you look at all the research right now, like loneliness, isolation, it's huge. Because even though we're so connected, we're the loneliest we've been in a long time.
I know.
So
for
it's
sure.
rare as an entrepreneur, it is rare to see people.
Yeah.
It's rare. And so what do I need to work on? I would think, I mean, that's the biggest risk if you go through this, you should have it in your email, is to say, okay, let me look at my risks. So they're not, this isn't good or bad or you got 100 score. It's, can I be my authentic Ronnie? Can I be authentically me? Well, let's get everything in the green. Let's get everything.
Oh, that's the goal. Is to get in the
that's
green.
the goal. But spoiler, it's never always in the green.
Yeah.
Once you,
Jacob said something so critical. I'm sorry.
yes.
And he said, with my friends, I can let my walls down because they know I'm authentically me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know if I say something, it's going to be like I'm not attacking or I'm not, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
if you're saying to somebody else, they would think you're trying to fight them.
Yes, you know what I mean?
When
People-
we know, we're just talking.
And then other people,
Oh,
and then other people, they like, you know, you have to like, you know, tell them, like, show them it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm lovable. You can love,
Yeah.
you can love me. You know, people.
But there is that
love me.
hesitation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, can you love me also? You know what I
Which
mean?
is hard.
Which
it's
is hard.
to show your cards because it's this, I'm skeptical of who you are. I've been hurt, so I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait. So again, it's not good or bad. It's navigating, how is that serving me in business?
Right.
Is it serving me? If we're in a society and culture where everyone's so lonely, what would it look like if I did let my walls down? And that looks different for everybody.
Right. And I mean, you talking about love. When you talking about love, I was in a religion that said that they loved me or we love these people. You know, yeah, we human, you know, but at the end of the day, you said you love a person, but you treat them like that. You know, or you can't be authentic with that person. If you say you love them, you lie to them. You know what I mean?
So that's a huge, I would say, like wound or even trauma where I was told my whole life they love me. And then when I started to question things, their love went away.
You could definitely see that.
Right.
That
And
sucks.
then
Definitely, 100%.
And then you seen so much that they say they loved you, and if you don't believe what they believe,
Yeah.
all of a sudden their Christianity love leaves immediately.
And that's so opposite of the message of Christianity.
Yes, but you see it all the time.
You do.
Even in different,
Yeah.
segments.
Humans can suck. And that's where, like, a snake can be a snake. Do you know what I mean? So it's not saying you have to love the snake.
Right.
Like, you wanna protect yourself.
Right.
But how much is that protection impacting your connection with other people? Because not everybody's a snake.
Right.
That's hard. It's so hard.
It's hard, because you've watched
it
this
is
your
hard.
whole life.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are snakes.
Right.
That's the thing, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I think the situation with like some people, because a lot of people don't have that way to open up to people, and he definitely has walls up. I guarantee when he meets certain people, I can see his walls go up, boom, immediately, and he's like, he'll even like talk to me about it or talk to whoever, and be like, hey man, I don't know about this, and he'll explain why.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I seen that, but like we see things a lot the same.
Yes.
But the only thing is when it comes to like, I think you're able to let your walls down around your friends a lot. And that's where you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's a reason I think we haven't gone stir crazy on stuff like that, because we can be as dumb and as dorky and as
So can I flip
foolish
the
as we
script
want
a little?
with each other.
So instead of thinking about you, thinking about how can your walls down impact the person behind that other wall? What would it be like
But what's the point of letting walls down sometimes? I'm
to
thinking,
connect with that person?
So does everybody deserve to have that connection though?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, they're a human, so I want to say yeah.
But what if it's like a business connection? Why let walls down for something like that? That's what I'm wondering. Like you meet somebody, you're in business with them, doing something like that.
So walls down doesn't mean here's my entire life story. Walls down mean I want to be able to see you. That's why I'm going to put the wall down. The wall down doesn't mean here's all my cards, here's everything. But if I can notice that person, I have to have my wall down. I can't notice a person if my wall's up. It doesn't work that way.
And I understand you're saying giving everybody a free shot, basically a free
Notice what's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if your wall's up, you're so busy protecting yourself, you can't notice
That's
them.
good. I understand that completely.
So it's if when you're in business, you're starting to say, okay, can I notice what's important to them? Can I stop my story right now and what are they actually trying to say? There's a really good book, Dave Blanchard, Today I Begin a New Life, describes this really, really well. And like, can I notice what's important to this person? Even if they're completely opposite of me, I don't trust them, I'm not going to show them my cards, but can I notice what's important to them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by walls down.
Mm-hmm. I believe I can in that area also, though.
Yeah.
I believe that I serve people.
Yeah.
So I give people the
You
chance.
have the skill.
Right.
So you can see it in yourself. You see yourself so clearly. You probably can in others. You just haven't.
Mm-hmm.
The thoughts are like, yuck.
And it depends. Like, it depends the segment. You know what I mean? Like when I say I give people a fair chance, meaning I want to get to know everybody, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
This is honestly who I am.
Yeah.
But once I figure once I have that opportunity to sit next to you and you talk and we, you know, the vibe, as these people say, energy, I can feel that, you know what I mean?
I bet.
And I understand, I know, like, you know, some people can't see snakes. I know snakes. You know, I can see when somebody's hissing at me but smiling in my face, you know, because I've watched it all my life now. You know what I mean? I've watched, you know.
That makes me sad because gosh, there's so many good people. Like if stuff hits the fan this year in 2024, I do believe humanity. I do believe there's good people.
Yeah, I do. I believe there's a lot of great people, but I do also believe that there are just as much as people who want to only come into your life to use and abuse you.
Oh, 100%.
You know, people
then I would say switch rooms. You're in the wrong room.
Right. So I have to be cautious and I'm careful because everybody doesn't have good intentions when they coming into my life or to your life. You know, everybody doesn't have, you know, and that's who you surround yourself with, of course. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can allow people to come in your life, you know, that start off with having good intentions, and then they you know leave with bad intentions. So at the end of the day, as I grew older, you know, I had to be selective in when to put my walls up and when not to put my walls up, when to close out, when not to close out. I try not to close out myself because I do like talking. I do like talking to people.
Yeah.
I do love.
Well, and just by having this conversation right now, we've brought some of these thoughts to your frontal cortex. So now you're aware, and now you're going to pay attention a whole lot more.
100%.
And that's the point of having like a mentor, or coach, or a therapist, is to have the talk therapy to bring it to the frontal cortex. Oh, I am doing. I didn't realize I was doing this.
But make sure that I am. Like you said, I definitely will make sure that I am paying attention to details.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah.
And making sure that I am not closing people out, and I do see them not just through my one lens.
Right, because our reality is not the reality most of the time.
My whole thing, I'm just
digesting,
because like I would think, okay, so a lot of that has to do with the environment you grew up in, right?
100%.
Not just family.
That's a good.
I feel like it would be like in your neighborhood, like we grew up where you walking down the street, you give somebody a dirty look, you're fighting. Our whole
it's not safe.
Our whole area was not safe. We knew we'd be fighting at some point throughout the week.
Just a look, just a head nod, or a hand gesture like this.
That was like the way we grew up. So when letting people in is just like, I'm not gonna say because it's different now. Obviously, it's not like that out here right now. But I'm just thinking like the environment you grew up in. I almost feel like that's not a bad thing. I'm thinking to have walls up, and then those walls can be slowly taken down as you meet the person. But I kind of think,
you don't want anyone to fight you. So think if that was your nervous system was be on alert, be on alert, be on alert, or you know what I mean? Like,
I literally
had
a
to
guy.
make sure I'm not going to get killed.
Yeah. Well, I literally had a guy come to, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Like smiling in my face. I'm like, hey, what's up? And then he cracks me in the face and runs. So that's how our life was growing up. So I kind of feel like that's not.
So me coming in here saying, everybody's loved, you guys are like, what is this talking about?
We're like, man, we got hit in the face just from a smile. You know what I mean? Like,
gosh, that's such a good, like, how I grew up is going to impact how I love people, how I see people, and what I was told the world was. I have this client that I'm working with. This isn't a diet space. She was told that sugars and breads and all this stuff are bad. Like, to the extent they didn't have it in their house. She's 4. She walks over, she's 4. She leaves the house and goes to her neighbor's house to eat. That was her reality at 4. So you think she has like rules with food and stuff as she's growing up. So she's like older now, 70. So she has to constantly say, okay, I have food in the house. I have access to food. I don't have to lie about it. I don't have to steal food from other people, from what she experienced at 4. So I'm sure how you experience strangers and letting people in, if you're going to get punched in the face, of course you're going to have okay, I just want to make sure I don't get punched. So again, it's not a good or bad thought pattern. It's being aware. I tend to keep my walls up and because of what's happened to me, bro.
I love it all,
yeah.
And everything that you're saying, I'm taking it in and being aware, of the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I take it in.
We call it the curse of clarity.
Okay, the curse of clarity.
You're so clear with who you are. Just be prepared how practical you are, and you might attest to that. How we can just get things done. So many people.
Well, he's a reliable person, 100%.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to be somewhere, he'll tell you.
Yes. How many people are not like that?
Like that's something you can always like.
They ghost you. Yeah. Is that what people say now? So it's just the curse of clarity is almost hard because you assume other people have joyful thoughts about their life, are secure in their own skin. So many people hate themselves. And so one of my taglines is you can't hate yourself to health, right?
That's crazy.
And I've built a business on really reworking that. That doesn't work. And that's the diet industry too, is hating yourself to health. You suck, I'm fat, get better, all this stuff. That's so mean. And that sound, so it's you don't have that. You know your worth very, very well.
I always think that has a lot to do with the way we grew up too, because all we did when we were young is talk shit to each other. so it's like if you believed everything
Men.
you said, you know what I mean? We'd be
Right.
like, we'd go to kill ourselves. You know what I mean? The shit that we told each other.
Man.
I think that's the men, masculine energy too.
Right.
You guys are just fight, punch it out, and then you're over it.
Yeah.
Girls takes weeks, and
Right.
it's vindictive and
Or
mean.
years.
Or
Like,
years.
damn.
You know what I learned though? Like I said this on a podcast with my cousin. He was on here, and my uncle, he gave us a printed out. It said, "Learn to take criticism," and I read that.
You said that at the beginning. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
No, you didn't say the print.
No, the story.
You just said-
Oh,
But
okay.
you
said
were
about
saying you
criticism.
liked positive criticism.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism.
Yes.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I tried to evaluate, like I said before, I try to evaluate myself. And one thing I think why the outside world, and I'm not better than anybody, I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I wish everybody was, everybody were, great in their own, way and level. But I believe the outside world is chaotic, is and within themselves, is because they don't understand being not just true to themselves, but allowing themselves to how would I say it? I want to be politically correct.
Not really. You don't have to.
I think you can say anything.
Wrong show.
I just definitely didn't want. I don't want people to make it seem like I'm better than anybody or anything like that. I want everybody to be great, but it's all chaotic on the outside because we're trying to look from the outside and not from the inside.
Oh yeah.
And-
So have you ever talked about motivation versus inspiration? So motivation is I'm motivated by that car. I'm motivated to make $1 million. Whatever. I'm things.
Mm-hmm.
But money is actually not motivating.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry. It's not actually inspiring. Inspiration is it has life on its own. So you're never going to be inspired by stepping on the scale.
Right.
Ever. You're
Right.
motivated, but you're not inspired. So inspired is that true transformation. You probably
And
have,
I'm learning that.
yes.
And like you've heard my story when I used to, stick my finger down my throat.
Yes.
And, I wanted to be what the scale said.
Yes.
And I stopped looking at the scale and just start looking in the mirror.
That's beautiful. You
so-
intuitively knew how to do
That's
that.
a meme.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. What'd you say?
That's a meme right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And-
Well, you're worth more than number on a scale.
Right.
Like that's a huge meme. Keep going.
So at the end of the day, what I learned is, because people are going to tell you like who they think you are, and they're going to judge you from what they see. You know what I mean? But the only person that can tell you who you are is you.
Yeah.
And that takes evaluating yourself regularly and
Yeah.
daily. And
I love sometimes, no human being, no man can look at their own eye color on their own. They
Right.
need a mirror.
right.
And so you need those connections. You need those trusted advisors to say, you're amazing.
right.
I know you don't feel it right now, and you're amazing. I know you don't think it right now, and you're amazing. Some people don't have that. They just grew up in a home or a culture. You're a piece of crap. Do better. I don't trust you. Do better.
Right.
I'm going to punch you in the face. Do better. Whatever.
Or you're going to hell.
Or you're going to hell, right? And so without getting into the definition, but yeah, there's a lot of, if you don't show up this way, you're going to be punished,
Right.
which I think we do need judgment and evaluation in a sense for some controlled chaos.
Right.
And you can't let everything slide.
Right, and that's the morals, and I think
Yeah.
that the religion does keep into place also,
Yes.
which is good.
Yeah.
and that's the morals and the principles and the guidelines
Yes.
that religion does come with.
Right.
And I'm sorry.
No, keep going. I think it can't be puppy dogs and rainbows all the time, right? There's got to be consequences for some actions. But to say you have to prove your worth, that's hard.
That's hard.
You're a human being. You have worth, period.
Right.
God says that. Jesus says
Right,
that.
right.
He loves everybody.
Right.
Right?
And that's what the outside world
Yes.
has 5 minutes. That's what the outside world has painted the picture. You know, when I say outside world, the outside world takes you away from it here.
Yeah.
Who you are.
Yes. Okay.
They begin to tell you who you should be. Not coaches, and I'm not talking about coaches and therapists, because and even, you know, religion, they have to try to keep you on this certain path. But we have to be still careful what the outside world is telling us and showing us, because then they're teaching us how they want us to be, how they want us to think, what they want us to believe. Instead of it, that's why I say evaluating myself, looking myself in the mirror and say, Ronnie, who are you? Do you even know? Who are you outside of what they're telling me, of what they have taught me?
Yeah.
You know, and I had to experience that on my own, and that's what I'm experiencing now.
That's the thing. I think you had to experience it on your own.
Yes.
I think that is what's getting you, like that whole situation with religion. Like it infuriates you.
Yeah.
And I think
I believe a lot. Like, and I didn't do that to my kids. I didn't do how I was manipulated and controlled. Right.
Yeah.
I let them have their own mind, their own ask questions. What do you think? Because I was preaching and teaching as they were growing up, and I didn't you have to wake up on it and you have to do that. In my house, you're going to do that. You know, but guess what it did? It brought a closer bond with me and my kids. Now, and I look at my situation, you know, and my mom and dad has started to tear us apart. You know what I mean? Because that's what certain things do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to have a balance, because you can miss it. And I'm saying this as even awareness. You can miss your children in just religion, teaching them religion. And you can miss, why don't I sit down and talk to them and hold them as a person?
Yeah.
You know, not as just my faith and what we believe and what God said, but talk to these kids as human beings now.
Yeah.
Like
the way he is with his son, like I've been seeing him with his son, like he's been coming and things like that. It's like he has like a hardcore friendship with his son.
That's my rib.
He's seen. He feels seen.
Yeah.
He feels heard.
He definitely feels seen and heard by him, because you could see the love he got for Ronnie.
I know we're ending, but I want to ask, do you feel you missed that with your dad? You
I
said
did.
He passed away.
I did, because it was, and even I had giants, and I got, even when I say giants, a lot of people in the faith.
Yeah.
I know a lot of pastors, friends that's
bet.
pastors, uncles, and close friends that are pastors.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I see the disconnect. Like people can't be your friend if you don't believe the way they believe, and that shouldn't be. They can be an associate, you know, but in the back of their head, they're really thinking something different about you. You know what I mean? And that's because it went not just in my religion, that's in other religions also.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is funny, because all our friends are think different.
Yes, 100%.
Like people would think, oh man, this was messed up, but we're with them all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We hang around Muslims, people that don't believe, like Christians.
Every
you know what I mean?
different kind
Every different type, because I'm going to love you and I'm going to be your friend no matter what.
And those are close friends.
Yeah,
you know?
and I'm not going to treat you different because you don't believe but your close family and your close friends, family of friends will do that to you.
What a wild experience for you to have that love be taken away over a belief system.
Over a belief system. And they do it to each other. Yeah. You know, they disown each other in different other religions also. Like, if you don't believe in me, you can't come around. You can't, you know, they do that in different religions. And it's like, I thought we were loved. I thought we were human. That's not love.
What pain.
You know?
Yeah. What a painful experience.
Yeah, so I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen a lot, and I've even been in certain churches and pulpits where they, you know, talk about other denominations, or they're not believing the way we live, so they're condemning them to hell because they don't believe what we believe. Like, you're a church and you condemning another religion to hell because they don't believe the way you believe. Then you have Baptists, you have all this different types of Presbyterians. You have so many different religions in one faith. Like, okay, now we have to start questioning, like, what's really going on?
Yeah.
Who's lying?
Yeah.
You know, who's really telling the truth?
Well, and it's hard to be a human to have none of us have died.
Right.
So we don't know. So it's all faith.
It's all
and
faith.
Faith is different, and it's like suffering is so complicated. Oh, it's one of the hardest topics. You probably know, being a pastor, and it makes people crazy. It makes people lose their minds. It's so painful to think about suffering and hell and pain and who goes where. And it's like, gosh, I'm really glad I'm not God.
Right.
I'm really glad I'm not in charge. I could just be the lowly human. It's confusing. One of the best things I think is, like, I'm so glad we don't know answers to life's hardest questions, because then we wouldn't be human.
That's right.
Right? Like,
that's
these are
right.
hard questions.
Like, and my son, like, he's opened my eyes. I just don't pour into him. He has poured into me too. He's only 21.
Oh,
you know, he has some wisdom and some
Yeah.
knowledge, and you know, he helped me, you know, with, come on, Dad, let's actually think about this one.
oh, what a blessing.
I love that kid. That kid is like a great
Like
kid.
a little Ronnie.
I look at this kid and I'm like, he's a great
He
person.
like, let's
That's
think
good.
about this one. Can this really be, like, you know what I mean?
You raised
And
a
I'm
good
like,
one.
I through the help of others too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, but that's your...
But
that's
he's
your
been
son.
my hip, yeah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I've been on him.
Yeah.
I love how he's like, all right, let's think about this, Dad.
Yeah.
See, kids have clarity. Their thought patterns, typically, they're pretty clear.
And you want to know one of the questions he asked me, and I want people to understand. And I know we got to leave.
Yeah.
My son asked me. He said, "If God is the creator of all people, why would he send people to hell?" And it's been asked before, and people say, "Oh no, God." People say, "No, you send yourself to hell." But if God is all knowing, before he created me, he already knew where I was gonna go,
Oh,
Dad.
gosh, such hard concepts. Hell, predestination, all this stuff.
So, and you
part
talking about part two. That's the
Yeah.
reality of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're talking about a God that created everybody in the womb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you tell him
yeah.
that he created Ronnie in the room. And he seen this precious little baby, but he already knew my destination, because guess what? He is God. He's all knowing.
I don't think my brain can wrap around any
That's
of that.
tough.
It's so hard.
That's tough.
Yeah.
And then you got a child that's asking you this. You know what I mean? Like, come on, wait a minute. You talking about the creator and that created every human being? You said he created every human being, so he knows what everyone is going to go before they die. I said, son, God knows everywhere, every place that a person is going to go before he died, because he is all knowing, and you cannot take that from an all knowing God. If you say if you say he doesn't know, that means you're taking that away from his all knowing. When Ronnie's in the Bible, if Ronnie's in the womb of his mother, guess what happens? He knows before I even come out my destination. And if you say he don't, he's not an all knowing God. So yes, son, my God, the creator that created everybody, knows where this baby Ronnie is in his womb. Before he comes out, he knows this person's destination, and ain't nothing's going to change it, because he's all knowing. He knows it all. So that's the type of question my son asked, and it changed my life. Because I'm like, if God is all knowing, he knows before I even was born my destination. And if he's all knowing, what can change that? What can change that?
Like, it's like mixing free will with predestination.
Yes.
And it's like your brain goes...
Yes.
And it's like, gosh, I can't
You better
grasp
not.
it.
You better not take all knowing from God.
That would be scary.
That'd be scary if you says your creator, who you believe in, knows it all, but doesn't know my destination in my stomach before I come out. He don't know that. He gonna change that? No, he know it even before I was created. Nothing's gonna change that. He already set that destination from the beginning. Was established at the end, and at the end it was established from the beginning. So that's
You've
the type.
wrestled with this.
Yes, that's because that's my son. He's pushed me to that level of understanding. You know, I have a nephew too. My nephew Jordan. I remember after I preached, I took him to eat out, and we went to the beach, and they was asking some serious questions.
So good.
Opening up my mind and my heart. Like, was God really disappointed in creating us?
What I love from this is they felt safe enough with you to
To ask me that. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. We're talking about 15, 16-year-old
They felt
children.
safe enough to ask.
To ask me that right after I get done speaking and preaching and teaching.
Yeah, but sometimes people are intimidated, or they are like, what is he going to say? But
Right.
they felt safe with you.
Right.
That's when my son asks me questions. I'm like, okay, good. He feels safe. I haven't screwed him up yet.
Right. And that's great.
Yeah, but they felt safe enough to ask, because you'll never really get that answer.
No.
But you can talk about it and
can
wrestle
talk
with
about
it
it.
and chew on it
Yes,
and all that stuff. And
definitely.
you can do it in love
Right.
and connection.
Right.
You get to connect with them, and that's what we feel.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on your deathbed, you're going to think, oh, I loved my son.
But most parents, that's great. Most parents would not allow that type of. They're going to stop you right then and there. This is what we believe.
Yes.
This is what it's supposed to be because this says this and this says this. But actually, we really don't know. Only the really knows.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they're going to shut you down, and direct you to what they believe. They're not going to listen to you. Like you said, it was big that they were able to come to me because they trusted me. They trusted the fact that, hey, my dad, my uncle is going to be real with me, and he's going to actually listen. And a lot of parents, and I hope parents are listening, they don't. They don't want to hear. They don't want to take the time out after school and sit down 45 minutes, an hour to spend time with their children to see what's really going on.
Yeah, what's really going on.
Because they don't even, they feel like they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's simple. It's simple. Start with trust.
Right.
Well,
it's even, I have a story from a mentor. His daughter was having horrible thoughts of self-harm. And the daughter felt comfortable enough to say, I'm having these thoughts. And he didn't try to fix it. He simply said, so thankful you told me.
That's good.
Like, I don't
That's
have anything
great.
to say, but, thank you so much for telling me. Let's just sit with it for a second. And that's it. And she's good. She's fine.
That was a crazy, that's crazy how he's just like, let's just sit with this for a second in a sense. Like that's
you're
good.
okay.
That's really good to
You're safe.
Whoa, that's
You're
crazy.
here.
I don't think I would have said that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have freaked out.
I think you would have said something like that.
That's
Yeah.
like I've sat down and
I'm sure you have pastoring.
Yeah. Even with my own children, I try to, and this is a tip, I know that I'm not perfect as a man. I know I'm not perfect as a father, and I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. And even now, as my children get older and become adults, I'm going to continue to make these mistakes. But one thing that I can understand the most is when I do make these mistakes in fathering my children, I go to them and I address the mistakes. I identify the mistake as a father. And I think parents should understand that. Understand. Don't just look at the children's mistake. You know what I mean? Don't just see what they'd have done wrong. Now address that situation, the mistake that the child has done wrong, but also address your mistake that you just made. How did you approach that situation? Did you hurt their feelings? Did you get out of control? You know what I mean? What type of temperament did you have addressing this? These are so critical because now you're teaching your child how to be a parent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So now,
yeah,
did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
So now you're
said you're teaching your child how to be a parent.
Yeah. So they're watching.
That was good.
You know what I mean?
Their nervous system is absorbing what's safe.
Definitely.
Without you even talking.
Without you even talking.
When you guys talked about it, it was dangerous in the streets. Why would I trust people?
Right.
That's the second and third brain. That's not this. That's what you experience.
And even for these grown, and I know we got to hang up and go. And even I got to say this real quick. And even for the children that are 25 and 30 and 40-year-old that still have, the 60s and 70s that have children that are 30s and their 40s, you're still a parent.
You are.
You know what I mean? And you still have to lead by example in everything. This is still your child. And you have to understand what that really means. A lot of people say, oh, my child is an adult now. He can fend for his own. You know what I mean? I would never let my child, this is my child until I'm dead and gone. I'm going to fend for my child. You know what I mean? We're going to walk through this thing we call life together because I brought him into this life.
Yes.
He didn't ask to be here. She didn't ask to be here. So at the end of the day, I have a responsibility until I die, until the casket drop. I'm going to be a father.
And no, we got to roll. I just want to add this to that because that's crazy because I think a lot of the times is like the reason why we put so much into our kids is because our parents didn't do that.
Did it?
And so like that, you notice that our generation is putting a lot into their kids, a lot, because you didn't see that. They were and the way they were brought up. They were worse treated worse than us.
Right.
So it's like they thought they did great,
Right.
you know, and then now we're like, wait a minute. We were not seen, we were not heard, so that we put all that into our kids. And I think that's why our generation does that so much.
I ain't giving them no pass, because if they didn't get treated like that, they should have treated us like that. Why it had to start with us?
I know. 'Cause it started with us.
They had an opportunity too to break that
Failed.
cycle.
Yeah.
They failed. Straight up, I'm gonna be honest. They failed. You know, and I'm as a parent. When you recognize that you failed as a parent, go to your children and make that up. And not saying you can make it up from the past, but you can start right here, right at this moment, and do better for your child and show them better and help them through life, grow with them through life.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of parents is just, they have given up. You know what I mean? You brought this child into this world. You know what I mean?
I'll never give up my kids, man.
No.
I can't even see that being possible. But yeah. I know we got to roll. This was a really different episode. I know this was a really good episode. I appreciate you coming on, Dr. Patty.
This was fun.
I think we'll have you on a few more times at
Yeah.
least,
Yeah.
as long as you want to come on. So
This was fun.
I appreciate you coming on. So let's do the thing.
House of a Bass. I'm Ronnie Adams.
I'm Jacob Casas. Shed the sheep, and we're out.
We out of here.